Hey everybody, Poker Dad here, or you can call me Lou, whatever you prefer. Um, anyway, the reason why I'm making this video is because I've noticed some certain mental lapses that I've had when playing online poker, and it's the reason why I'm making this video is something that really I want to be able to go look back on myself and to remind myself of certain things that I've been kind of missing. So tonight, I was watching some back episodes of This Is Us, which if you've ever watched This Is Us, it's a super emotional show, so it definitely helps you think about things in a more broader way. So, in this video right here, I just wanted to discuss some things I wrote down here in my notebook. This is my poker notebook, and you might be able to relate to some of the things right here that I'm going to talk about. Some mental aspects of the game, and just of other little things that sometimes you're playing and you just forget about because of different things that are going on inside of your head. So these are things, of course, I just came up with this list, things that I constantly trying to remind myself of, but seem to a lot of times even forget when I'm playing. So I made this video so this way then I can go back to it whenever I feel like I might be slipping just a little bit as a reminder. So here it goes. The first thing is to practice making plus EV decisions. And what I'm saying is, like, why am I playing? Why am I playing poker? Am I playing poker to make money? Well, yeah, of course, I'm trying to make money, but I just started. I just started about 6 months ago, and more than anything, I'm playing poker right now to practice making plus EV decisions. And it's not even just making plus EV decisions in poker, but then to take that mindset and use it into other aspects of my life, making plus EV decisions. So it's not just about saying, okay, doing something robotic because this is just the way things are done. It's about thinking about it, thinking about the process, and then doing doing it that's going to get me the best possible result. So definitely sometimes I think we all get into this mindset of this is how I do something and just keep on doing it over and over and over and over again. But the truth is, every single situation is different. And so making a positive EV decision um, changes with every single moment. And it's about thinking about it before you act. And that is something that I know I need to do a much better job at, is thinking before I act, and hence making a much better positive EV decision in poker and in other aspects as well. It's very hard to do. It is very hard to do because we're all emotional people, and sometimes it's very easy to let our emotions um, dictate our actions. But what I have to say to myself is, don't let my emotions dictate my actions. Think about what my action should be for me to have the best possible result. If I don't meet that result, that's fine. But as long as I did it the best way possible, and if the result doesn't turn out the way I want it to, at least I know I did the best that I could have done and made the right decision. More poker related, my win rate. So right now I'm still getting to focused on the money aspect of it. I'm only playing NL10. I've been playing some NL2, some NL5. This is all pocket change, and sometimes it's very difficult to forget. To think that, okay, well, I just lost $10. What's the big deal? $10 is really nothing. I have a job. $10 is maybe a meal. You know, not a healthy meal, but a meal. But going forward, I am not going to look at the money. I'm going to look at the win rate and say, even if I'm playing NL2 or I'm playing NL4, whatever it is I decide that I want to play, it's the win rate that I need to focus on. How many BB per 100 am I winning? How many BB per 100 am I losing? Sometimes you look at the graph and you look at and you look at the software, and it says I've lost $80. I've won $80. That is not what I need to measure my success on. I need to measure my success on my win rate, and that is what I got to keep the most important to me as I try and progress in poker and hopefully be a winning player. Going back to the emotions of it, not being upset if I do make a positive EV play and I just don't get the result I want. Sometimes you're just going to get sucked out on. It's just going to happen. Sometimes you're going to think that you know exactly what the other person has, and you never know what the other person has. Of course, you're thinking about their range, and sometimes it's okay to be wrong, but it's not okay to get upset about it and to beat myself up over it and to then think about it. And that's what sometimes happens. That's why I like to make the videos, because when I make the videos, I am speaking and I'm moving forward. But when I'm playing and I'm not making videos, a lot of times my head continues to think about that one hand that was a negative hand. And even if I made the right decision, it harps at me. And then what happens? Now I'm on tilt. But I can't convince myself I'm on tilt. And then I start making more and more bad decisions. What happens? We know what happens. The win rate goes down. And it all becomes a spiraling effect, because now I'm not thinking about win rate and I'm thinking about the money. And hence, so the bottom line is not getting emotional if the result is not what I want it to be on that specific hand. Very important. One of the difficult things to, Black Rain, I saw Black Rain 79 said this in one of his videos that I had watched. He says, don't have an ego. And playing against recreational players, sometimes you're thinking, well, I know a lot more than you know, so I'm going to beat you, of course, even if maybe my cards are not the best. And at that point, when you start letting your ego get the best of you, as it happens to me, you're not making the plus EV decisions anymore. Now all of a sudden you're saying, well, this guy sucks. He can't beat me. It's just impossible. And what happens? Then you get knocked down, and the spiraling effect happens again, like I have mentioned before in the previous examples. So it's important to say, okay, yes, this is a recreational player, but he has 2 cards in front of him, and he's still playing the game. And this is something that I need to remember, that even though he may not be the best player, okay, sure, he could be calling me down with garbage. I still got to play it a positive plus EV way and take the ego out of it. Just because maybe I'm doing a little more work than he is, he's still more than capable of beating me. Anybody can still beat anybody, because at the end of the day, it's a game of variance. So ego has to go away. And that's very important. It's something I need to remember. And I say it, but I got to practice it. And I got to practice what I preach when I think it. Very important. At these micro stakes, I cannot tell you how many times I have told myself, on the turn, believe your opponent. I think definitely NL10, NL2, NL5, NL4. At this point, if my opponent is still feeling pretty aggressive and I don't have really a top hand, and he's aggressive, they're not bluffing. So I gotta stop feeding them their money. And this happens so much, and I look at my database, and the turn, the stats when I am faced with aggression, especially when I'm raised on the turn, and I can't tell you how many times I have told myself, when your opponent raises on the turn, get out of there. Because 9 out of 10 times, they have it. Okay, fine. Sometimes maybe, I have a great hand, and at that point, great. But like if I'm sitting there with, just a pair of aces in my hand, and they raise me, I've lost. And you know what? This has happened to you. You've said, I got the best hand. Call. And what happens? More times than not, you're looking at the end of the hand, and you've lost. That call is such a negative EV decision, and emotion comes into it, because you think, there's no way that this guy has me beat. He's not a good player, first of all. He's a recreational player. There's no way he has me beat. The truth is, he does. And he's doing that because he has you beat. And really, if you think about it, the raise is a terrible play by him. It's a terrible play by him, because if you're in the right mindset and you know, okay, you know that you need to fold when he's lost money, because if he didn't raise you, you'd be playing the river, and maybe then you give him the money. Of course, when you have the mindset like I have at times, and I tell myself, fold on the turn, fold on the turn, fold on the turn, and you click that button, now you've made him a lot more money off of his mistake of making that raise. So, something I got to keep remembering. If your opponent raises you on the turn, fold. Unless you got the nuts, fold it. Easy. Done. Don't forget. Again, it's the same theme over and over and over again. If you're playing, if I'm playing, get upset, it's time to stop. Sometimes, I'm playing and I have a bad beat or I made a big mistake and I keep playing because you know what happens inside my head? I say, I'm going to make it up. I'm going to make it up. I'm going to win that money back. Because you know what? Now I'm going to focus. Maybe I wasn't focused before, but now I'm going to focus. The truth is, I'll never get refocused during that session. Because now I've already started the tilting process. And by me saying I'm going to get focused, at this point forward, okay, fine. I made that mistake. Now going forward, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be focused. It's not true. The truth is, not going to be focused. So at that point, it's time to say, you know what? There are plenty of other things for me to do. I love to sing. I can go sing. Watch some TV. Binge watch some shows. There are other things to do. I can say, okay, you know what? Maybe tonight, mentally, I am not in the correct mental mindset to play. So at that point, it's time to shut it down. Don't even wait for the BB. Shut it down. Because you know what happens? Sometimes you wait for that BB at that point, and you're already on the way down. And there goes the ace king, and you know what? You end up losing more. So it's always ace king, by the way. It's always ace king that gets you, and that's beside the point. I don't even get into ace king. Okay. So anyway, you get the idea. This is something that I really need to get in better at. And one of my favorite poker podcasts is the Poker Study Podcast, and it and the host on that show, Sky, he's amazing. He goes over this having the right mindset before you play. And look, it's in this notebook. I'm telling you, it's in this notebook. But you know what? In fact, I wish I had it here. I wish I could just grab it right now. But the thing is, a lot of times, I don't do it, and I know I should be doing it and getting in that right mindset because I'm just so excited to play. It's that time. Maybe it's a weekday, and I've been working all day, and doing all my fatherly duties, and now it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and I'm just excited. I want to go. I want to play. Guess what? What happens? I'm not in that right mindset because I didn't prepare myself properly beforehand. Now sometimes I do. Many times I don't. And that is something I need to get better at. And I need to follow the steps that again, Sky, who's incredible, has laid out. Excellent. And focus myself pre-session. And you know what? This is going to be hard to do because I just want to play. Because I'm excited. Because I love it. It's a lot of fun. If I don't feel like I'm in that mindset, if I don't feel like I'm focused, maybe I'm tired, I think it's okay not to play. I don't have to if I'm not going to be, again, making positive EV decisions and not playing my A game. One of the things he says, ask yourself what kind of mindset you're in. Don't lie to yourself and say, yeah, I'm in my A game, when you're really not. And that's something that I guess you just have to dig down deep and know, am I in my A game? Well, I think that's going to be very important for me going forward to remember to think like this. Am I in my A game, or am I just rushing to go play because I just want to play? I'm just so hungry to play. Something definitely to think about. This happens to me a lot on the weekend. Or, maybe you're just trying to, I'm just trying to squeeze, I have an hour. Let me go play some Zone, because Zone is really quick. I can play for an hour, goes back. I'm not in my proper poker mindset. Not only that, I'm looking at the clock. Oh, I only have about 5 more minutes to play. I'm not thinking clearly about what I'm doing because I'm thinking, well, I only have an hour to play. Let me play as much as I possibly can in an hour. At that point already, I'm not in the proper mindset. And at that point, I'm rushing and I'm not thinking about focus. I'm not focused, because I only have an hour. I only have 45 minutes. So one thing I need to do is I need to manage my time better. As much as I'd love to just sit here and play all day on a Saturday afternoon, I don't have anything to do. I know myself that I play much better at night when all the distractions are clear and I don't have to worry about little things possibly coming up. Maybe the dog has to go out to the bathroom or whatever the case may be, or maybe the kids are coming home, or just any other possible distractions that happen during the day. And or like I said, I have 10 minutes to play. Not 10 minutes, but I have an hour to play. Let me squeeze in some game time. That's the wrong answer. And now I know going forward, that time can be used for other things. And I can still do poker-ish things during these times, like studying, maybe reading, or maybe just resting my mind and preparing myself for later. Instead of constantly having my mind moving and moving and moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. And then when it comes time to play, my mind really is exhausted and it really isn't ready to play. Resting my mind during this time instead of saying, well, I have an hour to play, let's play. Well, that's, if I looked at my statistics for how I do during the day, I'm going to tell you they're probably terrible. I could tell you that I played today because I had a couple hours and I wasn't in the right mindset because I just rushed because I wanted to play and I was just so excited to play and I got trashed. And you know what? It makes sense. It all makes logical sense because I was not in the proper A game because I just was rushing to play and just so eager to play and didn't actually think about everything properly because I was on a time constraint. It even happened yesterday on Thanksgiving. The same thing. Instead of just doing something else, even just study or rest my mind and prepare for later. So being patient. This is something that I think I've gotten a lot better at. I am, for the most part, a very patient, calm person. Sure, I do have my moments where, I can blow up a little bit. But for the most part, I'm a pretty patient person. And staying patient while playing has got to be like one of the essential things that I do. There are times where, sure, I'm playing 2 tables and maybe I'm not getting cards for a half hour. And I start thinking, maybe let me just add like 2 more tables or, the thing is with patience and playing is when you start to get impatient, you start to make bad decisions. For example, let's say you're playing that recreational player, and you pre-flop raise, okay, maybe with like ace 3 suited or whatever the case may be, right? He calls you, and you have nothing on the flop. And I look at his stats, and his stats say that he does not fold to c-bets. And I still c-bet him anyway, just because I'm bored. And that becomes the fact that, one of the great things also that Black Rain said is he said that winning is boring and you got to be patient. And, so something that I need to remember at times is that especially, playing only 2 tables, eventually I like to play some more, but, right now I feel good with 2 tables is being patient in the situation. If I'm seeing something like, for instance, this guy does not like to fold to c-bets and I have nothing, I don't even have any draws or anything like that, why would I try and c-bet him to get him to fold when every indication I have says I don't even have any fold equity? And that all goes back to being patient. Because you know what? Sure, he may bet there and I may have to fold, which is fine. That's a positive EV decision. But he may also check. And then also the turn card may actually benefit me. And that all is patience. So instead of throwing my money away because, I just want to see if I can get him to fold, even though most indications say he's not going to fold. You know, that's all about patience and relaxing. And again, going back and making plus EV decisions. So I hope, you know, I'm going to go back and watch this video many times, especially when I feel like maybe I'm slipping. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And, you know, I have a feeling a lot of things that I said is going to resonate with you as well if you're watching this video. And, you know, I think that, you know, this is probably a great video for every poker player, you know, who maybe struggles a lot with these mental aspects of the game. You know, I want to read the book, The Mental Game of Poker. It's something I definitely have to read, and I know every poker player is supposed to read it. And it's something that I'm definitely going to read. But I also, you know, I'm going to continue to do research and on the mental game, and you know, I think it will definitely benefit me. And I know that at the end of the day, I will do well in this if, you know, I get out of my head and focus on plus EV decisions and not letting my mind bend my play, as I've kind of mentioned before. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please, you know, click the like button, and most importantly, please subscribe. You know, I'm a new channel, but you know, I think we're doing a pretty good job. I don't know. Anyway, if you have any comments, please leave them below as well. And hope everybody has a great day. Thanks a lot for watching.